Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our candidates. I want to say that we're really excited about this process because it is designed to engage our students, to allow them to participate in a process very similar to what they will be experiencing in real life. You have to interview for jobs as you go out into the work world. You have to interview for positions, even in the college life you'll be moving on to. We also hope that it will provide our candidates an opportunity to share their views, to be able to be engaged in what's happening in the district at this point in time where we're looking towards moving back to local control, and to actually have a student input on our board is extremely important because we need to stay connected to our students. We need to understand what their needs, their desires are, and they have an important place in the party of stakeholders that influence the district. So candidates, good luck, and I am excited to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Couldn't have said it better myself. So I just want to go over the rules of engagement, okay? Candidates will each have 2 minutes to make an opening statement. Nathan, who is our current board representative, and Ms. Baskerville Richardson, who is our president of the Board of Education, have prepared questions for the candidates, and we will pass out index cards for those who have questions for the candidates as well. Lydia will collect the questions. Lydia, can you raise your hand? Okay. And I just want you to know that the candidates have not seen the questions in advance, so their answers will be spontaneous and making it more realistic. And so at this time, I just want to turn it over to Laura, who will start with her opening statement.
Hi, my name is Laura Dawn Gould. I've been in the district for, this is my 10th year in the district. I'm often considered to be a leader in my school. And as much as I love Newark Public Schools, I feel like we have a lot of problems. And they're problems that I, as student representative, would really look forward to sharing with the board and to looking into what those, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. And looking into what our students think of those problems. For example, switching over from state control to local control, trying to improve communication between the district and its students and faculty, and then just doing our best to deal with things like budget cuts and the emphasis on testing, which are all things that I think are a detriment to the school in some ways, or the school district.
Thank you. Javon.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Javon Caldwell. I attend American History High School, and I'm just eager to interact with the children and fellow peers to see attending a North Public School. You hear a lot of complaining around the schools and nothing you could do about it. Now you got a chance to be okay, people complaining about this and that. Now we can make a change for it. So I think I'm prepared and ready for this type of job. Thank you.
Thank you. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Tony and Nathan.
All right, good afternoon to our candidates as well as to the audience and those of you who are watching tonight. And we're going to just ask you, first of all, take a deep breath, relax, don't forget to breathe, and simply answer the questions to the best of your ability, which we know that you will do. The first question that I want to ask, and this is for both of you, and since Laura spoke first last time, Javon will ask you to answer this first, and then Laura. So the first question is, there are 65 schools in Newark, and there are over a dozen high schools. What would your strategy be to engage students across the entire district?
To address the students around the entire district, I was thinking of a brilliant idea of making a website type of a survey type of thing. So children can probably like leave a little bit of information, or it's gonna be type of like a blog type thing. So if you feel a certain way or it's an issue that you have, you can just type it into the blog. It's gonna come to me and I'll review it over and I'll talk to my fellow board members and discuss about the decision or the problem that's going on in your school.
Well, my plan for dealing with student concerns would be to use established social media services. I was thinking you could either we could create a Facebook page or a Twitter page, or something along those lines, where students could voice their concerns in a public arena, where I could take that to the board and say, you know, here are the things that students in my district have been upset about. And then also in terms of students who don't have access to those types of technology, I would try to get in contact with peer leaders throughout all the high schools and middle schools in the district as much as I could. And so that if you didn't have access to those kinds of technology, you could talk to someone who could talk to me about it. And thus we could still have a discussion of ideas within the district that I could bring to the board.
Thank you. So this question is also for the both of you. Based on your experiences as a student, whether in grammar school and high school, how do you see the student experience in terms of academics, in terms of student relationship to faculty and administrators change within, let's say, a decade? How do you think students are going to feel in the Newark Public Schools within 10 years?
I feel like, me first, right? Okay. I feel like in the district, just due to budget cuts and some things, because class sizes are getting bigger and bigger, it makes it harder for teachers to have personal relationships with their students. And I feel like if this trend continues, we'll have problems with that sort of thing. When I went to middle school, I always felt like I had close relationships with all my teachers. And of course, in high school, that changes anyway. But even throughout my 3 years of high school, I feel like class sizes have been getting bigger, and the teachers are just getting stretched thinner and thinner. So yeah, I feel like that is a trend that should be stopped as much as it could be. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
So in 10 years, how do you think students are going to feel, or how will the student experience in NPS change, in where public schools change?
You asking how have they changed?
Or how will it change in 10 years?
Okay, in 10 years you said?
Yeah, how should it change?
They should change as in the relation between the faculty, students, teachers. They all should interact in a better way. I feel as though you should have a great relationship with everybody in the school. Principal, guidance counselor, you should all have a great relationship. So I feel as though, you know how high school is, there's a lot of population in there. So you're gonna have to kind of, what's the word? Kind of like have a, I can't get that word out, but you got the concept of it. But you gotta have like that good bond, that good relationship, so you can have like successful, basically. Success, my bad.
Thank you. So, the student representative will be a student on a board of adults representing students from all of the Newark Public Schools. If you are that person, how will you make sure that your voice is heard on that board of adults?
Should I start?
You go first.
I'll go first.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so in general, I don't have a lot of problems with talking to adults and sort of making sure that my voice is heard in settings. I do my best to be to get my ideas out there, but not be too aggressive, and try to maintain that balance between not saying enough and saying too much. So, yeah, I would just bring my concerns that I had to the board, and then sort of move on, and just do what I can to get the issues changed.
Thank you.
I feel as though that's preparing you for maturity, because you in front of a board of a whole bunch of adults. Now that's pretty intimidating, but it's going to be actually interesting because you're getting ideas from adults and you're talking to adults, interacting with adults. That's reality, basically. So you just preparing yourself, and it's going to be a great journey.
Thank you.
So to go into some of the school-related concerns, basically like the plans that you might have for the beginning of next year, we hear that many students are dissatisfied with school lunch, right? It's one of those concerns that always comes up, no matter which school that you go to. It's just a very consistent sort of like lack of communication between the district and students in terms of what's on the menu, if anything can change. So what changes would you recommend to ensure students are eating healthy while being at school and make sure that even if they don't have necessarily, let's say, breakfast at home, that they're still satisfied at school?
Well, in terms of school lunch specifically, I feel like a lot of the times it's either extremely unhealthy, but it tastes good, or it's supposedly healthy, but it's not real food. Like it has nutrients and all, but it's it's just not as good as what we're used to having at home most of the time. So I feel like one of the things that I would try to bring forth in the district is having food that is as close to its sort of natural source as possible. So like whole apples, whole fruits, that kind of thing, and then just moving forward with a nutritional meal.
Lunch? No, let me not start from lunch. Let's start from breakfast, because that's the most important meal of the day. Breakfast, I know a lot of students don't get a chance to eat breakfast at school. Either they arrive late or it's just not their type of taste. So I'm going to try my best to get students to eat breakfast. Because if your day don't go well without breakfast, that's your main running, like that gets you going for the day. So I say like, have some waffles, like mix it up. We don't like, sometimes they be giving like Eggos and muffins. Like I don't want that. I want some like a waffle, probably some eggs, a fruit smoothie, something that's gonna be good, something that's gonna nutrient my body. So I'm gonna say like, that's gonna be a good breakfast. And lunch type wise, I say we need like more, what's the word? More food, but like in a better type of cuisine. Like let's have different themes type of food, like probably a Chinese theme or maybe an Italian theme, maybe American theme. Like just mix it up a lot. And let's probably like have like a starch and a meat that's going like, and a vegetable that's gonna help us out. Like let's say we could have buffalo wings with celery. That's a good meal. That's good to me. So I just feel as though lunch can be mixed up a little bit better and made and prepared in a better way.
Thank you.
So, unfortunately, not all students come to school, or many students don't come to school nearly as much as they should in our district and probably other places, but we're concerned right now about our district. So what could you do as the student representative to help increase the attendance rates across the district? So what could you do to help motivate more students to come to school?
For kids to come back to school, well, not back to school, to get the population to increase more, I feel as though kids drop out because they don't find school interesting anymore. So I'm gonna have teachers to interact with the children more. Like, don't make everything about school. Like, make it fun, make it interesting, make me want to entertain me, basically, to learn. So I'm gonna have teachers interacting with students a lot more, and let's have a little bit more fun in school. Not too much fun because we're still in school, but enough fun that we're gonna we're gonna have fun, we're gonna participate and enjoy our day in school. And not a lot of kids tell their parents about school because it was boring. Like my mom asked me, I'd be like, it was alright. But I want to make it like, oh mom, guess what? This and this happened. Oh snap! Make it interesting. So that's what I'm gonna try and do to make kids come back to school, not increase in
Attendance.
Increase the attendance at school.
Thank you.
Well, my suggestion for just increasing attendance in classes would be, also to make things interesting, but just to make sure that the students are engaged at each level. And I feel like in addition to students being sometimes bored by the curriculum, which, can be changed with, certain styles of teaching, possibly just making it more engaging to the students. But also another reason why students tend to drop out or not come to class is because they feel like they're getting behind. So just encouraging students and teachers to create bonds and to have, and encouraging students, or letting them know that they have a place where they can go when they need help. So like creating those kinds of like after-school help centers if needed, or just making sure that students know that, you know, there should be a teacher in their building that can help them if they're feeling lost, that kind of thing.
Okay, so to go to the school-related concern that's probably on the minds of most students and which everyone probably will want to talk about, uniforms. So research shows that uniforms take the competition out of dress. Peer pressure keeps the focus on learning, basically what the statistics say. But, and it says it brings a sense of pride to the school environment. But students often do not agree on this, and they say that it kind of restricts their own personal ability for expression, and that there can be other options in terms of like a dress code that's more flexible. So how would you recommend to find a balance between the sort of formality, the sort of like conformity, as well as showing, giving a little bit of personal freedom to students?
Well, personally, I would suggest maybe, I feel like a lot of times uniforms, because they're such a small thing, and because students tend to rebel because it's such a small thing, it sort of snowballs into a really big deal because, you know, teachers get upset that students don't care, students get upset that teachers do care. So I feel like sort of the ideal balance between the two would be to have sort of almost a semi-formal dress code at school where, you know, maybe perhaps like jeans and a nice shirt or something, but not necessarily, you know, the strict polo, khaki pants and stuff that can honestly be quite uncomfortable, and just sort of like a minor annoyance to students that helps, that, you know, restricts our sense of, our ability to express ourselves.
I see uniform as being like a unity, as in like you're representing something. So I feel as though uniforms is like something that's real, well, it's becoming real strict around Newark. And I'm gonna go based on my personal experience. Not a lot of people wear uniforms in my school, but the way my school is set up now is how we wear uniforms Monday through Thursday, and on Friday we have dress down day. So I feel like that's a better type of thing instead of having uniform strict every week. You know, that's too much. So let's have like, I feel like that's freedom right there. You know, the day is Friday. Let me get some freedom. I could wear my own clothes. So I feel as though it should be Monday through Thursday. You could wear uniform. You gotta wear uniform. And you gotta have 100% rate of uniforms in order to have that for that free. My bad. Dress down Friday, but you gotta have 100% rate or you ain't gonna have it.
Thank you. Now, what about school pride? What are your thoughts on implementing a district-wide initiative to instill pride in our schools? We know that various schools may do their individual school pride events or whatever, but what are your thoughts on implementing a district-wide initiative? What might that look like? District-wide school pride initiative.
I would be really excited to see a district-wide school pride initiative, just because I feel like a lot of times students sort of feel like they shouldn't care about what school they come from. But I come from Science Park and I love it there, like science. But but I feel like school pride days are important. We should feel proud of like where we come from, and we should want to improve our circumstances, which is of course why he and I are here today, to become your student representative, hopefully. And I feel like if we were to have a school pride day, it could be in the form of like pep rallies, or we could have some kind of like competitions within the school, like just having fun and saying like we are Science Park, or we are Shabazz, or we are Eastside, and like just having fun with that.
When you said district-wide spirit thing, I just went through my head. I had this one idea, like every high school just had their own little thing walking down Broadway. Not Broadway, but like downtown. And then we have like a high school versus high school basketball game. Like I had so many things going in my head. But in my school, we don't have that much like student like type of pride thing. So it really don't faze me. But I want us to have like a pride type of thing, because it's your school. You gotta represent your school. You in it all the time, so you gotta represent it some way.
Thank you. Now, I know I asked Laura this question when I was interviewing you, but just for the audience and for Javon as well, how would you say that your background has prepared you in terms of the qualities and the traits that a student representative should have? What about your childhood has helped you in that aspect?
Okay, so during my childhood, I've moved around a couple of times just because of my mom's job. So as a result, that has forced me to interact with new people in a different way. So I do my best in new settings to sort of like, I have a lot of practice going into new settings and figuring out like, okay, so these are the people that are, you know, kind of cool, and like just trying to figure out like where my place is and learning how to talk to people and get my points across in new situations, just because I've moved around like 3 or 4 times.
When I first started high school, I came from Irvington, transferring to Newark, and that was type scary because I didn't know nobody from Newark. So as I progressed in Newark and like started interacting with people, more people started interacting with me. So I got to meet and like interact with mostly everybody. I know mostly everybody in the school because they come to me. Like we basically friends, you know. We have this little bond. I have this bond with everybody in the school. So I feel as though this interaction with different people, I can do it with basically anybody. I'm a friendly person. So I feel as though my background is like, I'm just a nice person to meet. And I have like, what's the word? Like, I can't get this word out. Wait, what's the word? Hold on. It's coming. Hold up.
It's okay.
I forgot the word. But I have like little things. I have experience that, you know, little situations that happen, and I help people out, and I feel as though that I'm just a friendly person.
Thank you. Okay, so now you are the student representative on the school board, and you have this grand idea, and you have vetted it with the other students, and you want to make it happen. How would you get me and other board members involved in your project?
Would you like to go?
Oh, I'll go. Like you said, the board is full of adults, so I'm gonna pitch y'all some things. Like if I'm gonna keep bugging you about it. Like this is idea that I got that's gonna make this district go bananas. Like it's gonna be crazy, man. Like it's like I'm gonna like draw out little sketches. You know, I'm gonna show you like what my idea in my head is. Like I'm gonna really push and strive to show you like, yo, I really have this brilliant idea that's gonna make this district have a successful type of bond togetherness. It's just gonna make this district have a lot of fun.
I would go about presenting my ideas specifically during board meetings so that, you know, I have a little bit of audience. Just kind of put a little pressure on the people who are there, just like, you know, hey, this is something that I've seen students in my district are concerned about, and this is my proposal for how to fix it, or this is something that we think is going really well, let's see if we can improve that. And then, of course, I would pitch it to people one by one and sort of see, like, who can be on my side and who can be my ally, especially because the student representative can't vote. So I would obviously have to get the adults on my side if I wanted to get anything done. So I would go one by one and see, like, hey, how do you feel about, you know, this topic and this topic? So yeah.
Thank you.
So in terms of accountability, and let's say the connection between people at two-seater or administrators and just the average student, the common student, in your opinion, how can the Board of Education be more accountable to the public on student achievement and school performance? So how can the Board of Education be more involved in student performance and talk to the students in a more like one-on-one way?
At the school I'm at now, American History, I really don't hear much from the board. I feel as though they should have like they should come to our school a little bit, see how we doing, look around, interact with students. So I feel as though the board should like get more of a personal type of thing, or get more like of a personal type of reaction and relationship with us. And I feel as though they should get more involved. I feel as though they're not involved enough.
Yeah, I definitely agree. One of the district's weak points is sort of a lack of communication between the students and the parents and the faculty of the district. I feel like one of the ways we can improve that is sort of just publicizing all the district events and meetings as much as possible, and saying, like, hey, we should go here. You should, learn about your district, do as much as you can to try to, be at these events. And then even though I alone couldn't do this, I would obviously need help from other people. Trying to transition from state control of the Newark Public Schools to district control, so that we are more accountable to the parents specifically. And I think that in itself, with parental involvement, would help create a district where communication is better and where this district can better serve our students.
Thank you. And this is the final question before your closing statements. What will you do? And try to think of something maybe that you haven't already said, but what will you do to make a difference?
To make a difference, I'm going to relate with the students. I'm going to try and bond with the students as much as possible. I feel as though our main source, our main type of ideas is going to come from the students. So I feel as though the students going to have more communication and more possible ways to get their word or their opinion across. So whatever idea or whatever your opinion is, how you feel, you can communicate, so I can communicate with the adults on the board to make things possible, to make changes, to make people want to enjoy coming to Newark and attending their schools as well.
What I would do specifically to, as the student advisory board representative, is I would sort of publicize myself as much as possible. Like, my name is Laura Gould. My email is lauragould99@gmail.com. You can email me anytime with any questions or comments or concerns you may have about the district. I feel like I would just publicize myself and sort of what I'm willing to do for this district as much as possible. And just, bring my concerns to the advisory board as much as I can. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We actually have a few questions from the audience, so I'm going to start off with the first one. So, in your experience in terms of volunteering and extracurricular activities in Newark and in Newark Public Schools, what kind of contributions have you made to your local community and the city as a whole?
Currently, I play football for Barringer High School, and I learned how to my like characteristics of how to become a team, like how you make a bond with a whole group of people to make one thing possible. So I feel as though that type of relation with my team and like with the other students, we gonna have to be one big old team to make this one thing, not one thing, but multiple things happen. Like your opinion, that's one thing that has to happen. Like, you gotta have an opinion. So we gonna make that one thing happen and get your point across. And I feel as though we gotta make that together, because if it's just little bits and pieces like of everybody, it's not gonna work. You gotta be one whole team in order to make this happen.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
So in terms of your extracurriculars and like the volunteering that you have done at your school or elsewhere, what type of contributions have you made to your local community?
So, like, what have I done for my community thus far? Okay, well, I'm on the bowling team for Science Park, and sort of my contribution to, that specifically would just be sort of bringing honors to, science. We were like fourth in the district, or we were fourth in Essex, the team, and then I placed 10th in the county just by myself. And sort of that kind of thing, just sort of saying like, hey, Newark is out here and we can do things too, even if it is just bowling. And then I'm also part of the peer empowerment program at my school, which is a program designed to It's a program designed to sort of help get students acclimated to their environment in Science Park. So it's for 7th through 9th graders. And I would go into homerooms and be like, hey, this is science, these are the issues we're dealing with at science, and try to figure out like what students see the problems are and see like how we can create better communication between the students and teachers, and just making sure that students know that they have people that they can turn to all the time. I also participate in events mostly at my school, like the Summer Bridge program, which is again like orienting the students in the school. And that's what I've done for Newark.
Thank you. How would you address the problem of violence and threats that many students face, be it person to person or social media? How would you address that?
I say a lot of drama starts from social media, so I feel as though you shouldn't bring that type of atmosphere or type of attitude or that type of negativity into a school building. School is for school. You learn there. You don't bring the drama or violence into school. So I'm going to try my best to make schools non-violent as possible, because that's a lot happening around in different schools. So I feel as though that type of negativity should not be accepted inside of a school building.
I feel like the best thing you can do to stop violence is to sort of prevent it by telling people like these are the consequences of bullying, these are the consequences of violence, these are the consequences of like hurting your peers like in school, out of school, like that kind of thing. And not just like, oh, you should feel bad, but like you can get suspended, you can have like that sort of dark mark on your permanent record, things like that, and just letting people know like this will not be accepted at our schools, and things like that. And so as student representative, I would advocate for that to be sort of made clear. So like, yeah.
Thank you. And for the last question, what would you want students around the state to know about Newark students?
Okay, I would want students around the state to know that Newark students are just as smart and just as capable as everyone else around the state. Just because we're from an urban environment, that doesn't impact how we relate to others, that doesn't impact how we learn. And of course, we're always getting better as time goes on. So yeah.
When you tell people, like other students from like out of Newark, like in different cities, you be like, I go to school at Newark. They be like, oh, you go to school in Newark for real? Mm. So I be like, I want to make people like change their mind. Like not Newark is not all about negativity. It's very intelligent people in Newark, and the talent in Newark is ridiculous. Yeah. So I feel as though they just think about our negativity, but not our positive, because it's a lot of greatness in Newark, and not a lot of people see it because of the negativity that's covering over it. So I'm gonna make people change their mind and say, oh, Newark is like, you got a lot of talent, and it's not as bad as people say it is.
And now for your closing remarks, you can just say what you want to leave with the audience.
My name is Javon Caldwell. I attend American History High School, and I'm just eager. I'm ready for like this type of job. Like it's gonna be a lot of experience and different type of things to learn and experience from a lot of people, and then interacting with a whole bunch of adults is gonna be like type fun for me. So I'm just ready for the job.
My name is Laura Gould. I go to Science Park High School, and I'm also really excited to be your student representative if you'll have me. I just want you to know that if elected, I will do my very best to bring all of your concerns to the board. Just by communicating with you as much as I can, and by telling the district what I think, and not only what I think, because you may disagree with me, but what the students as a whole are thinking, because obviously one person versus all the district. But yes, thank you.
So what we have today, we've heard from Laura Gould from Science Park High School. We have heard from Javon Caldwell from American History High School. And I am Antoinette Baskerville-Richardson. I am the chairperson of the Newark Board of Education, and I am honored to have participated in this debate today, and I'm very, very proud of the presentations that I have heard, and I know that no matter which one of you ends up sitting up there on the dais, that you are both promising young people, and I know that you both have a great future, so thank you so much.